Hi, this is Eric Dunavant with Dunavant Wealth Strategies. I sit here, today is February 4th, 2014. And I've been noticing a lot of the media, newspapers, and even clients that I talk to that the word volatility keeps coming up quite a bit. Now that's understandable. January was a very volatile month. The market was down over 3%. And if we look just at yesterday, the first trading day in February, that trend continued, was down over 2%. But this time, everyone's nervous about the word volatility. And I thought it was a good chance just to take a step back and ask the question, why? We realize that 2013 was a very volatile year? I hear you saying, Eric, what are you saying? You're not quite sure if you believe me. Well, ask yourself this question this way. If the markets had dropped 20% over the last year, instead of rising 20%, would you feel like the last year was volatile? I think you probably would. So, to make sure we understand the word volatility, I thought we'd pull out the dictionary. And so when we look there, what we find is volatility is an adjective. And when it's speaking of prices and values, it means tending to fluctuate sharply and regularly. Sounds a lot like 2013. So you notice this definition doesn't tie you to the direction of the fluctuation and whether it was up or down. Look back at the beginning of 2012. The S&P 500 was at 1402. Yesterday, it closed at 1743. That's about the same level it was 3 months ago. What's interesting is that when I talked to people back in November, a lot of them were pretty happy with where they sat at that time. I've said it before, but it definitely bears repeating. The S&P 500 has averaged a drop of 15% every year since 1980 when the index began. At the beginning of 1980, the index was at 106. Today, it's at 1743. That's an average return of 10% a year with dividends reinvested. But look back at the calendar of those years, there was a lot of volatility along the way. So why do I bring this up? Well, there's a lot of research that has shown that behavior is one of the biggest drivers of individual investor performance, which means it's an almost certainty that people who react emotionally to volatility, either through euphoria or through panic, end up with less than favorable investment results. Our primary objective is to help you keep the longer term in perspective and ignore the distractions that come along the way. See, I know that we can't control volatility, but what we can control is how we react to that. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next time. The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Dunavant Wealth Strategies, a division of Cardia Planning LLC, a registered investment advisor and a separate entity from LPL Financial.